I get what you mean. Yeah, with family, friends, interviewers, everything is positive. But
But you hate the album.
yeah, I listened to the album. I really like it. And but you already published two singles, In Love and Natural Woman, and although I don't know what you guys feel, but I was reading some like a little of the comments of the people, and people is really loving it. So
Cool. But did you get the link to listen to the album?
yeah. I got the link and I could listen the whole album. Yeah,
Cool.
that's the
Nice.
thing
What
of.
was your favorite song?
Wow, I like a lot number six, Truth, because there's
Oh
like a
yeah.
saxophone player and I love saxophone too. And it
Nice.
reminds me that song reminds me a lot of Elvis Burning Love. And I don't
Oh
know if
yeah.
Elvis has been an influence on you guys, but I really love it.
Not really. We actually wrote that song, and afterwards, somebody, after the recording, somebody said like that sounds a lot like Burning Love. I'm like, oh, it does. Sometimes you just have those moments, and you can't do anything about it.
No, but I think it's cool because I love Elvis, so and
Nice.
it's not a bad like so but I really like the whole album and not, I mean also In Love, the first track, I think is great, the one that you publish, like the groove,
Yeah.
everything, and so I really like it very much. So
Oh, thank you. That saxophone player on Truce, he was a local, and yeah, it was really fun to have him on the record. He plays the flute as well on Hard to Make a Buck.
okay.
Yeah,
Nice. Actually, you recorded the albums in Muscle Shoals Sound Studios and Fame, which are some of the greatest studios where they recorded like Etta James, Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, Lynyrd Skynyrd. So I would like if you can explain me how that everything happened, that you guys went to record there. How was it? And like
oh yeah, it was crazy. Like we always wanted to record at Legendary Studios, but we never really got that chance. And we had like other ideas for our previous albums. And we never thought we would be able to record it in places like that. But at first, it was the idea to like Chris Robinson of the Black Rose. When we were on tour with them, he offered us to produce our next album, and we had some contact about that. And we sent him some demos after that tour. But unfortunately, the recording period that we had to record, because the release was already set and that kind of stuff. He couldn't he couldn't work it out with his schedule because his tour got canceled with Aerosmith, so they had to change it, and eventually it didn't work. So we thought, fuck, what are we gonna do now? We thought we were gonna have like this cool producer, and we really loved that idea that somebody would think with us about the songs and think about what works best, and not as being in the band, but like an outside view, like a second opinion. And we were really looking forward to that. But then we didn't have that anymore, and we sent an email to Muscle Shoals Sound Studio, because we knew they kind of have an organization that chooses which bands record there and not, and the bands that record there need to have some affinity with the music that was made there, like something related to the legacy. And we actually got an email back saying that they would love to have us, and that their sound engineer knew of us. So we were like surprised, like, oh my God, a place this legendary has already heard of us. That's crazy. Um, but then again, they didn't have like a producer, just a recording engineer that does the miking and the technical stuff, making sounds. Um, and then there's this singer-songwriter called Dylan LeBlanc, and I've been fan of him since I think I was 20 years old. And the last couple of years, we got acquainted better because he was playing in the Netherlands sometimes, and he needed a backing band. And through some people, he ended up playing with some friends of ours. So we kind of got in touch, and we also asked him to play on our upcoming festival, like the Wolf Fest. But like a year ago, he was playing close to where Pablo and Luca live, and they went to see a show. And after the show, they started talking, and Pablo told our plan of recording a Muscle Shoals sound, but we didn't have a producer. And he said, like, you need to record with Ben Tanner. He's produced my records, and we thought, wow, man, they sound amazing. And he's actually from that area, and he knows a lot about the history of the Muscle Shoals area, like, with the Fame Studios and the Muscle Shoals Sound Studio. And he actually, like Rick Hall, the original producer from the studios back in the 60s, that was his mentor when he started working there. So, he really understood why we wanted to record there, and understood how to make us into a cool band to record there. So we had after that show, Dylan sent an email to Ben Tanner, like, you guys, if these guys, my friends from the Wolf, they're gonna send you an email, and you gotta listen. You gotta listen to them, and hopefully you'll get to record with them, because they're good people. And then we had a Zoom meeting with Ben Tanner, and that worked out really well. Like, he got this similar spirit as us, like mindset about music, and we talked about stuff that we liked, stuff that he liked, and it was a match. And he also said that we if we had the chance to also record in Fame Studios and like do 50-50. So we did that as well. And it was such an amazing experience when we were there. Like, when we weren't playing, Ben was telling all kinds of stories about that he really did a deep dive in the history of those places. Yeah, so that's how we came to record there.
Yeah, and Ben Tanner has 2 Grammys, so I mean he's probably a huge producer right now. And I would like to know, you guys, the album sounds very live played, like very organic, and not overproduced. So usually mainstream music now is very produced, like like everything is like with keyboards and the grid and everything. And I would like to know how important has been like Ben's work as a producer to get the sound of the album, and if he has changed anything in the way you were planning to record or play, or so, just to let.
Yeah, I think, like, we wrote a lot of songs with the idea that we were gonna record there. And we got inspired by the music that was already made there, and that's also not very produced. Like, it's really like sec, like dry. You can hear all the instruments clearly. It's like every soul record that was produced there sounds like a band playing in a room. So that uh yeah, we kind of had that idea for the record, and that's also why we brought a bass player to be able to, like, do the bass tracks, like, with the bass player instead of dubbing them. And we had a lot of instruments in the same room, so the drums and the bass would have like a bleed in the sound, so it would glue a little together. Um, yeah, and I think those rooms that we played in also makes it sound like, yeah, like that. I think it sounds like a modern twist on the original Muscle Shoals sound.
Yeah, but it has a very like vintage character I mean seems very like organic, like you can feel that you guys are playing and you are like in the place. So I really like that. And you mentioned the bass player. I I was wondering how different is for you playing with a bass player, because probably you have much more freedom to just don't have to bother of the bass. And I also wanted to know if when you are going on your next tour, if you will bring the bass player or you will go back to the trio format.
When we play in the Netherlands, we bring him. But when we go outside of the Netherlands, it's too hard to, there's no place in the van. We can rent a bigger van, but it's a lot of cost. And, the Wolf live, I think the essence is still like the three of us. And I love having him playing bass, but I also love doing it myself. It's like Pablo had a good comparison. He said like it's of course if Chris Robinson would sing in The Wolf, I would love that. But after a couple of shows, I also want to sing, you know? Um, and the same is for me. I like recording with a bass player because then I can really focus on my part. But what I'm doing the last couple of weeks is rehearsing myself at home, trying to learn the things that he did on the bass with on my left hand on the bass synthesizer, and like trying to figure out how to play it together. And I like practicing that and making it work and being able to play those new songs just with the three of us and trying to make it as powerful as with a really cool and funky groovy bass player. Um, and also, like when it's the three of us, we can more easily go places musically in a live jam, for example. Because with a new bass player, it's more difficult to have that non-verbal connection on stage, and to figure out where you're going.
Yeah,
So
probably in a trio you have more interaction. It's easier, to connect.
yeah, you have less people to worry about.
And but for you, it's much more difficult when you play without the bass player, or it's the same for you. You feel as comfortable.
It's a good question. I think I can do more interesting stuff when I don't play bass, but it also feels very naked for me. Like it feels like a harder job to play without bass because I'm like so used to it that it's yeah, I kind of miss it when I don't play with my left hand. Usually when we have a bass player, my left hand is almost doing nothing. Like sometimes it's helping, but I just don't know what to do with this one if I don't play the bass. It's yeah, I'm funny that way as a keyboard player.
It's been a while. I don't see you guys in the last time you play, and I always have the remembrance of you with the Hammond, but in the album there's also Rhodes and piano. And I will also wanted to ask you, how do you feel? Do you play different? Do you feel different the Rhodes piano with a Hammond, or just
Yes, it's very different. I feel most at home with the Hammond organ, but like some of the songs we made the demos with Hammond organ, but then we got there and it didn't really work the way we wanted it to. And then I tried some piano because, some pianos there, they really have history. Like it's Leon Russell's piano that where he recorded stuff on that was in Muscle Sound still, that same piano. And that Wurlitzer from Aretha's I Never Loved a Man, it was also still there. So I really wanted to use those instruments, um, and not just the Hammond organ. And I think we found some good spots in the songs for those different vibes. And there was also a really cool synthesizer that Ben Tanner had in his own studio that we could bring to the famous studios. it's a Baldwin synthesizer, and it has this internal speakers. I've not really seen synthesizers with internal speakers that often. It's like this old synthesizer as well, and it had this beautiful sound, and the way you could play it, it felt really natural. And I was like constantly playing with it, but sometimes it would give out, like it wouldn't work anymore. And then, we were wait. I had to do this dub, and we were waiting on it and waiting on it. I was trying to fix it, and then it would work for like 10 seconds, and I played all the parts, and then we it broke again. It was so funny. All the instruments sounds great, but they're not very reliable.
And yeah, because all you mentioned Leon Russell and Aretha Franklin, and with all that background from the studios and that historical piece, I can imagine that because you are kind of young, you are all young, and it's I mean you've been few years, many years around, but you're still young, and probably have a long successful career in front of you. But I would imagine that recording in those studios has been probably one of the most important things that happened to the Wolf. If you could name me like two or three most important things for you since you are in the Wolf, which
Touring with the Black Crows has been a big opportunity as well. Like to be able to see like all those live shows every night. That was crazy as well. But also to talk with them about music. And like maybe a year later, we met them at the Swedish Rock Festival. Like we were walking inside the catering tent, and like they stood up from their tables and said hi to us, and we're like, oh my God, feels like we're friends with a band that I've been a fan of like for such a long time. um so that really was very an important experience for me. Also meeting Robert Plant, it's been a couple of years ago now, and it was so short and brief that it starts to feel like a dream now. I'm starting to doubt if it really happened.
well,
um,
yeah,
yeah.
but like the way you feel about that, a lot of people right now is feeling that when they meet you. Like the Wolf is. I mean, probably in 20, 30 years, you will be probably as big as they were. So do you ever guys think about this process? Because I mean, I mean, right now there's there are a million artists in the world, and with networks and social network media, it's very difficult to stand up. But you're one of the bands that are standing up from apart from all the other people, and you're growing, and you probably get bigger. So do you ever guys think about this process that's happening to you, or you just don't care?
Only when interviewers ask me. Like there are a couple of interviews this week that ask like the same question, like where do you see this going? Like when you had a number one album in the Netherlands, do you notice that people talk differently to you? Like and I actually don't. I still like it's going well. I can't deny that. Like I know the Wolf is doing great in Europe, but I still can't see us at like this like a really big level. Like we're still we're not very we love the fact that people love our music, and I feel we have a connection with our fans. We have like a fan group as well, and people that we speak and after the shows we try to connect with fans as well, and I think we have a very personal approach like that. um but it also keeps you like down to earth. And I think also one of the reasons is like we never think, how can we become big? It's just like, how can we stay true to our music and like make what we want? And I just think every year we're lucky that people like what we do. And we never think, damn it, next album we got to do it differently because we're not millionaires. already. Um, so yeah, I think yeah, I only think about our career and where it's going and like hopes and dreams like that when interviewers ask me.
Well, but that's good because the thing is that in mainstream music, rock is not a big thing anymore. But there's some bands like you or like Dirty Honey, Rival Sons, Larkin Poe, Greta Van Fleet. The other day I was here watching play Marcus King here in Madrid, and there's like 3,000 people there. So, and in all these concerts of all these kind of bands like the Wolf, I love it because all the audience, when you go to the audience, because I'm a musician, you know that, uh, you find a lot of most of the professional musicians in the city are going to those concerts. So I think that must be also very fulfilling to know that the audience that come to see the Wolf shows are not their the massive audience, but these people that really love music. There's plenty of professional musicians there, so that's cool.
I wish you haven't told me because next time in Spain I'm gonna be more like nervous. Like I prefer playing in front of not so professional musicians.
No, but
But I understand it's also kind of a compliment, but sometimes I still can't believe like, people think I'm good. Like I have a huge how do you say it? Like I never think I'm a great organ player or like I never went to conservatory or I don't know about like all those scales and difficult stuff. But the last couple of years I realize more that I do have a unique way of playing, and I think I get a lot of confidence out of that. That because a lot of people around me that are musicians, they all did like the conservatory study or like that kind of stuff, or like they teach, and I can't teach because like most of the time I don't know what I'm doing, and but I do realize and can acknowledge that what I do is unique. I don't know a lot of Hammond organ players that do this kind of music and they modify their Hammond like I do with effects and that kind of stuff. Because all the Hammond organ players from now, they've got this keyboard and it's all internal effects and that kind of stuff. But that's easy and it doesn't create the same connection with your instrument. And like for me, that was also hard to go to the States and play on a Hammond organ of that studio because I have a lot of modifications on my sound of my Hammond,
Mhm.
and I have this way of like opening up Hammonds and then using like the crocodile clamps
Mhm.
to get signal from the tubes, and then I attenuate the signal, and then I can use different kinds of pedals. But then I have to amplify the signal again so it can go to the Leslie speaker. But the Leslie speaker's got this weird 6-pin connection, so I need kind of like modification that. And then I also do some modifications on the motors of the Leslie so the speakers can be stationary. So I kind of get this sound as if the Hammond goes through a Marshall, like a guitar speaker. And all those modifications, like I think they make my playing unique. But that it was a hard job going to Fame Studios and convincing the people from Fame Studios that I know what I was doing and that they shouldn't worry that I'm going to break their Hammond organ with these modifications. And then so first they were like, okay, I don't completely understand. So I explained some more and they're like, okay, okay. And then I did all these modifications and they're like, man, this Hammond hasn't sound this good in since ever. And I repaired some of the like some stuff was broken inside the Hammond organ at Fame Studios, and I offered to like solder it and repair it. And like, oh man, we didn't notice it was broken, but now that you say, yeah, please repair it. So I can get some confidence out of that, but I never think myself as like really technical, good Hammond organ player or anything.
Now you can record the next album for free there.
Let's hope so.
Well, I think it's very interesting what you're saying, but I mean, it always goes to the same dilemmas. I think we tend to see like a great player, like some guy that is very technical, plays technical stuff. But for me, at the end, the greatest player is the one that makes the band he's playing in sounding great. I mean, like for me as a guitarist, I mean, you think about great players, you can think about I don't know Van Halen or whoever, but you listen to the Beatles and you probably wouldn't think like George Harrison as the most technical guy, but they were the fucking Beatles. I mean, or the Rolling
Yeah,
Stones.
it worked.
Those
And that's
those musicians playing those bands, and I think the Wolf sounds great, and it's a terrific band, and it's probably one of the best sounding rock bands right now. So that makes
And
you,
that's what I also loved about the Swampers, like that backing band that played in both studios back in the day on all those records. They're not really like virtuose instrumentalists themselves. But together as a band, they were funky as hell.
yeah. And at the
Yeah,
end,
I don't know if you know that's the same band that
no, I didn't know
in
that.
like Fame Studios was their first, and the producer Rick Hall produced all those like hit records like Aretha Franklin, Wilson Pickett, but the band that played was
It was like kind of,
working.
it was like kind of like the Wrecking Crew, no? Like a band that was recording all the albums, right?
Yes. So a soul singer would come, and then it was the same band all the time. And then later, that band started their own studio, and
Mhm.
that's where Cher's first album was recorded, but with the same like musicians. And those musicians, they like individually, they weren't Van Halen,
Yeah.
but together as a band, they played on all those hit records,
And they made it
and
awesome.
that's crazy. And that also inspired us as well. Like we don't need to like show off with this record. We just go back to basic and try to make it feel good.
Mhm. Okay, Robin, I have to quit because I have to talk to Luca right now at 6:30. So, so I have to,
Nice.
bro. Anyway, I will
Say
go in February. You are coming to Madrid, so we'll go there, see you. So we have a talk there. So
nice.
it's gonna be great to see you guys here in Madrid again.
Cool, man. See you there, and say hi to Luca for me.
Yeah, I will say hi to him.